Today's topic is haemopoietic tissue. So, in this what is haemopoietic tissue? Haemopoietic tissue is that blood forming tissue or the tissue that forms blood cells or blood corpuscles. Blood forming tissue or tissue that forms blood cells or corpuscles, just like WBC, RBCs, platelets, all the three blood cells are formed by this haemopoietic tissue. This is further divided into or categorized into two categories, that is, first is myeloid tissue and second is lymphoid tissue. Now we see what is myeloid tissue and what is lymphoid tissue. First is myeloid tissue, or this is also known as the bone marrow. First is myeloid tissue or bone marrow. Since this tissue is found in the marrow cavity and canceller spaces of the bones. This is the bone. This is marrow cavity of bone. This is the marrow cavity. And this is canceller spaces of bones. Now, this myeloid tissue found in this marrow cavity and canceller space. This is further divided into two parts, two categories. First is red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow. शॉर्ट में हम लिख सकते हैं RBM. So, in this, red bone marrow is found in the mainly canceller spaces. This is found here. Now, in red bone marrow, all the corpuscles of the myeloid series are formed except lymphocytes. Means, myeloid series means RBC, platelets, eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils. These are formed by the red bone marrow. And second is yellow bone marrow. Second is yellow bone marrow or by VM. This is for the fat storage. This is found in the marrow cavity and this is formed in the for the fat storage. Now, the volume of bone marrow is different in adults and in infants. So, if we see volume of bone marrow, so 70 ml in infants and 4000 per 4 liter in adults. Fine. Now, this is myeloid tissue. Next is lymphoid tissue. So, what is lymphoid tissue? It is a reticular connective tissue lymphoid tissue This is a reticular connective tissue. Reticular connective tissue in which lymphoid organs are present. Lymphoid organs are present. Organs are present which produces T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. Which produces T and B lymphocytes. So, this is the hemopoietic tissue which forms blood cells. Next